Okay, think about this for a second. What would it actually take to reshape an entire region in just a handful of hours? Today, we're diving deep into a secret war plan that some military analysts believe could do exactly that. We're going to break down the anatomy of a hugely controversial strategy known as Operation Epic Fury.
Just imagine it. A single order from the president kicks off a military operation so fast and so massive that the shockwaves are felt across the entire globe almost instantly. And this isn't some sci-fi movie plot, it's a very real scenario that strategists are wrestling with as we speak.
So, what is Operation Epic Fury? Well, that's the name analysts have given to this incredibly audacious plan. A rapid, overwhelming strike designed to take out Iran's entire top political and military leadership in one single, coordinated move. And here's what makes this whole thing so mind-boggling: the timeline. Authorization could be given, say, mid-flight on Air Force One during a crisis, and then boom, within just 12 hours, the first wave of strikes hits. A few hours after that, the whole thing is over. Just like that. And let's be crystal clear here. This wouldn't be some small, surgical action. We are talking about hundreds of precision weapons hitting command centers, missile sites, and critical air defenses, all crammed into an unbelievably short window of time.
Okay, so that's the what. But the big question is, why? Why on earth would anyone even think about a strategy with such enormous risks? Let's try to unpack the logic behind this kind of decisive and frankly terrifying action.
The whole idea hinges on a military concept called a decapitation strike, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. The goal isn't to get bogged down in a long ground war. It's to, well, surgically remove the head of the adversary, the senior leadership, so you paralyze their ability to command their forces and fight back. So the theory goes like this. It's a chain reaction they're hoping for. First, you take out the senior leaders. That, in theory, completely messes up their whole command and control network. With their network down, you've crippled their ability to coordinate any kind of serious response. And the end goal of all that? To prevent a much longer, much bloodier war. It really all comes down to a massive, high-risk, high-reward calculation. As one analyst put it, the goal is to stop a bigger war by taking away Iran's ability to coordinate a large-scale retaliation. The hope, I guess, is that one single, massive, decisive blow could actually be the less destructive option in the long run.
But of course, that's if everything goes perfectly. And when does that ever happen, right? The critics of this strategy, well, they point to a huge potential for blowback, and they have a whole laundry list of things that could go terribly, terribly wrong. You see, the entire plan is balanced on a knife's edge. Because intelligence is never perfect. In a situation moving this fast, just one targeting mistake because of bad info doesn't just lead to a tragedy, it could unravel the entire strategic purpose of the operation. And this really gets to the heart of the tension, doesn't it? The intended outcome is this clean, swift military success. But the potential reality? A humanitarian disaster that sparks global outrage and creates this unstoppable demand for revenge. And that revenge, that retaliation, experts are pretty much certain it would happen. But it probably wouldn't be a conventional head-to-head fight. No, it would almost certainly escalate into what's known as an asymmetric response. So, an asymmetric strategy is basically how a weaker military can fight a stronger one. Instead of trying to match tank for tank or jet for jet, you use your own unique strengths, things like proxy forces, cyber attacks, drones, to hit your opponent where they're most vulnerable. And this is what that kind of response could look like in the real world. Not just one thing, but everything, everywhere, all at once. We're talking missile and drone attacks, massive cyber operations hitting critical infrastructure, and proxy groups causing chaos across the region. Even strategic choke points like the Strait of Hormuz could become a flashpoint, which would hit the global economy hard. And you know, there's this deeply ironic twist to what could happen inside Iran. History shows us again and again that when a country is attacked, you get this rally round the flag effect. So instead of weakening the regime, an attack like this could actually end up strengthening the most hardline factions and completely silencing any internal opposition. So when you put all of this together, you've got the logic for the strike on one side and the immense risks of blowback on the other, you end up at this central unresolved dilemma that's right at the heart of this whole debate. It all comes down to this one fundamental question. Is this a shortcut to peace, or is it a fast track to a regional catastrophe? And the honest answer is, nobody really knows for sure, which is what makes it so terrifying. You've basically got two camps here.
On one side, there's the deterrence argument, which says that showing overwhelming force is the only real way to stop future aggression. But on the other side, you've got the escalation argument, which warns that an attack like this would just create a cycle of violence that spirals completely out of control.
Ultimately, what a scenario like Operation Epic Fury really highlights is that modern war isn't just about what happens on some battlefield. A single military action can send shockwaves crashing through the global economy, it can destabilize entire regions, and it can fracture diplomatic relationships for decades to come.
So we're left with one final, chilling question. Does an action like this actually get rid of a threat, or does it just pop the cork on the bottle, igniting a fire that's much, much bigger? It's a dilemma with no easy answers, but one where the stakes, well, they couldn't possibly be any higher.